Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for clicking on this video. It's Neil here from Post to Post. I appreciate you taking the time of your day to click on this video. This is actually the second time that I filmed this video, because the first time that I filmed it, it took me 30 minutes. I thought it was a pretty good video, and then I looked at my mixer and the audio was off. So I have to refilm this video. I don't have much time left before I have to leave, so I'm going to speed run this. Dan is the designer for these logos. We're looking at alternate logos from the NHL, alternate team names, alternate colors in some of them, alternate logos. Like, this is a total kind of inspiration from the DNA contest, and then the contest that's ongoing currently. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I announced it just a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago. I think it was last week. Lots of time still to enter before the end of the month. If you're interested, make sure you go check that video out. But Dan has done 32 NHL logos from a different universe, essentially, kind of rethinking the DNA of every location. Like, sometimes it's not going to be Dallas. Maybe it's the team name is Texas instead of Dallas. But generally, the locations are the same. We've got 32 to look at. I have ranked these. I'm going to speed run this, Dan. I apologize in advance, but man, that first 30 minutes that have gone to waste, and I got to go in like 20 minutes. So I got to speed run this. Let's start off with number 32. I've put the Columbus Beef. It's just a bit of an awkward name. Like, who's your team playing this weekend? The Beef? Excuse me, what? The Beef. Oh. It's just a little bit of an awkward name, so not a fan of the name Beef as a team for an NHL team. But the logo itself is extremely creative. There's lots of really cool things in here. So on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side of the logo, you've got the hockey stick coming down off of the state flag, or a variation of the state flag, colors for sure. And you've got Columbus Blue Jackets colors in here as well, but the hockey stick is coming down. You've got the puck on there as well, but on the left-hand side, you've got maybe a fork, maybe a spatula coming down to the puck. But there's some little bit of a heat waves coming off of there. So maybe that's a burger and not a puck. I'm not sure. But the team name is just throwing me off. I had to put this one last. Number 31, we've got the Boston Nationals. Not a bad team name, but for 3 reasons, I've kind of ranked this a little bit low. And reason number 1, which is probably the most insignificant reason, is that there's already a professional sports team called the Nationals, the Washington Nationals in the MLB. So for that, I've docked a few points. Reason number 2 and reason number 3 is that it reminds me so much of 2 things. In the United States, for sure, maybe in Canada as well, there are 2 rental car companies. One's called National Car Rental, and the other one's called Hertz, which I'm sure lots of people have heard of. But the National logo is green, and it just says National on it. So it's very similar to how this is laid out as far as the font. But then the Hertz logo just says Hertz, but the colors are black and yellow. So to me, this is as if Hertz and National Car Rental got together, bought an NHL team, and created a logo. So for me, now that I've seen that, I can't unsee it. And for that, I kind of ranked it a little bit low. Number 30, we've got the Winnipeg Voyagers. I like the team name. I absolutely love the team name, actually. But the logo is throwing me off hardcore. It's too kiddish. It's too goofy. It's too happy. I think a Voyager is someone who is, trekking the land and exploring and having hard days, hard nights, and up against it maybe every single day. And this guy just looks like he's out for a fun little skate, and he's like the Kool-Aid guy on ice in a way. He's just too happy. He's way too happy. But I like the canoe that's on there. I like that he's on skates. I just want him to look a little bit more rugged, maybe a little bit more worn and torn. Number 29, I put the Ottawa Bell Ringers. A little bit of an awkward name, I will definitely admit that, so I lost some points there. The colorization is pretty cool. I believe that the top of the roof was copper and used to be, copper, but over time, I think the water has corroded the copper, and that's why it turns green. If I'm not mistaken, that's why the Statue of Liberty is green. But I actually like that in this logo. I think that really kind of muted green is very attractive. I would love to see an NHL team use this specific shade. So I love the color that Dan went with here. It's very applicable. That's the top of the Parliament building. You can see there in the background, if you're not familiar, there's a bell in it. So like, the name it makes sense for Ottawa. The logo colors make sense for Ottawa. It's just a bit of an awkward name for me personally. Next, we've got the Chicago Doughboys. So I was very conflicted with this one, because doughboy is a term of a U.S. Army soldier, infantry, U.S. Marine Corps, going back into like the 20s maybe, or something like that. It's just the nickname that they got. I don't know why. I have no idea the reason behind it. If you do, let me know in the comments. But it's a very popular term. Now, some of the younger generation might not know that, but I think a lot of the U.S. population will definitely know that, maybe not the Canadian population. And the statue that you see here on the front, you'll see that statue in Chicago and other cities around America. It's a very iconic statue. I don't like what's going on in the background. I think it kind of just distracts from him. There's just not enough dimension there. So the C and the D, while it makes sense for Chicago and Doughboys, I want it to be there, but just differently. I don't want to remove it. It would be okay if it was removed, but it needs to be done just a little bit differently. And the name is a little bit awkward to not everyone who knows what it is. So, like, can you imagine a game between the Doughboys and Beef? It's just weird. So I had to rank this one a little bit low. Number 27, the Toronto Sappers. So I've got lots of love for this one from a color perspective. The red just flies off of this logo, and it looks amazing. It complements so nicely with the gray, with the beige, with the brown, those muted colors. The red really stands out in such a positive way. The logo itself is just slightly awkward because there's lots going on in the background. I don't know if that's a bridge on top. Maybe it's a factory that makes maple syrup. I'm not exactly sure, but it is a bit awkward. But I love the colors, and the team name is I'm on the fence with that one. I think it's, you call someone a sap. That's a bit of a negative thing, but Sappers is also kind of a cool name. So I don't know. I'm a little bit torn in this one. Number 26, we got the LA shots, or the Los Angeles shots. Lots of things I love about this. Lots of things I don't. Maybe just one thing. So the right side of the logo, where it says LA, you've got the film coming down, which is cool, with the puck, and you've got shots beneath. I would remove all of that. There's some really cool aspects there, but just remove it. It makes the logo very, I don't know, it's just such a strange logo. It's so disconnected. Keep the guy on the right. He's got the cowboy hat on. There's the dark face. Is he a villain? Is he a hero? What's he up to? Is he going to shoot me? I don't know, but he looks cool. He looks very menacing. I like that. The colors are also very interesting as well. And the term shots, you're taking shots in hockey as a goalie, and you take shots as a player. Now that I think of it, that is an awkward term. How can you give and receive something that is worded the same way? Anyway, that's a conversation for another time. But anyway, it's a cool team name. I really like the team name. The logos kind of throw me off. Half of the logo I would just remove. Number 25, the St. Louis Expos. I will fully admit that I am not familiar with the reasoning, the education behind the choice behind this name, Expos, that used to be an MLB team in Montreal. Ironically, became the Nationals, which we saw a little bit earlier. But exploration, exposition, and expansion, 1904. I am Canadian. I have no idea what that means or what it has to do with. I'm assuming that's the Capitol building in St. Louis or something. I have no idea. So the colors are St. Louis familiar, but the team name and the imagery is very, very unfamiliar to me, so I wasn't sure what to expect here. And this is not supposed to be an educational video. I'm sure that Dan, if he did provide all the reasoning behind all these logos, I didn't want to read them because as a regular hockey fan, as a consumer, I want to see a team branding just up front, and I want to try and interpret it myself. That's one of the most favorite things for me to do. That's why I love when you guys submit different brands and stuff. I like that. I want to figure it out for myself, and at that point, if I don't know something, then I'll go educate myself. But it should be relatively intuitive up front, but I think everyone from St. Louis obviously would probably know what this is. I just don't as a lowly old peon Canadian in the East Coast. Number 24. The Florida Rise. This is so funny. I think Dan had a lot of fun making this one. It's just such a slap in our own face. I love it. I mean, the ocean is rising. There's parts of Florida that are very heavily in danger of going underwater here in the next 20 to 100 years. And the logo it's just so playful. It is so you get the sun there. You've got pieces of Florida which look to be, maybe covered in water now. You got the hockey net in there, but the posts of the net is actually like a glass thermometer with mercury in it, and they're just coming out the top. So like the temperatures are rising. Florida rise. The temperatures are rising. The seawater is rising. So I just think Dan had a lot of fun with this one. It's not one of my favorites because I don't think it's realistic. For that reason, like it's ranked where it is because it's not realistic, but I love it at the same time. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but great job on this one, Dan. I like it a lot. The net is even sinking. Cool. Number 23, the San Jose Cyborgs. I love the colors, the teal with that kind of neon yellow. I think that looks so good together. The team name, Cyborgs, incredible name, absolutely incredible name. But the logo, it's a missed opportunity for me. I'm just thinking something that's like a robot that's very like muscular or aggressive or just means business, indestructible almost. This just looks like a mannequin with a TV on its head. I guess. So for me, it's just a little bit awkward. So I would classify this maybe as a missed opportunity. I would just want to see something a little bit more aggressive. This seems a little bit lackluster based on the name Cyborg. Number 22, we've got Philadelphia. Got that St. Louis Blues colors in there, but it works. And you know what? This is a very simple logo, but the team name is awesome. Fighters. What do you do in hockey? Well, you toss the mitts off and then you throw some knuckles. So I think this is very applicable to not only the hockey, but the logo itself is. I don't know. I ranked it where I did, which is a little bit low because of the logo, because it's just awkward to see a shirtless man on there from like 1990 or 1890 rather, 1890 with a massive mustache, greased back hair, looking to go. So it's just, I don't know if a shirtless man is very reasonable for a rebranding of an NHL team. Number 21, the Carolina Labs. It says Tarpac in brackets. I have no idea what that means, what it's referencing. I don't know if Labradors were originally bred in Carolina. I have absolutely no idea. But what I do know is that the team name, Labs, is pretty cool. And I love the colors. Black stands out so nicely, or I guess the red and the blue stand out so nicely on the black. And it just looks amazing. I love this logo. It's very simplistic. It's like the dog itself isn't super aggressive. Might have been cool to have an aggressive dog in there. But it's not a sad looking dog. It's just a dog like you're just kind of like looking over there, like what's going on over there. Maybe I should go over and start tossing mitts. I don't know. So I think he's just a little bit inquisitive there. Number 20, the Vegas Neon Fortunes. The team name is too long for me. Let's cut it off at Neon, just Vegas Neon. I think that is fine with me. The logo itself, it's very bright. I think one negative thing for me is the font, though. There's 3 different fonts happening. Vegas is a different font than Neon. Neon's a different font from Fortune. They're all different. They're all stylized different as well. But the colors are cool. Like the Fortunes really stands out. The Neon really stands out. The money on the side, the sign in the background. It really, like, he did a really good job interpreting the name Neon and just like boom, put it into a logo. I think he did a really good job there, but it's just maybe a little bit busy, and I'd like to see a little more cohesiveness in the font choice. Number 19, the Calgary Mounted Bowman. When I first saw this, I didn't really understand the term mounted in there because I didn't see the horse. I just thought it was a Mountie just standing there awkward with his legs spread, having a poo and shooting a squirrel or something. I don't know, but then I saw the horse, and then it made sense. So I would actually remove, like I know he's a Mountie, but I would remove the word mounted. Just Calgary Bowman. You can keep him a Mountie if you want. I think that's fine. I don't know if they actually use bows or not, maybe 100 years ago. But I think that would be a cool logo. I think it's very Canadian, so I'm definitely okay with that. I would just remove the mounted. Number 18, the Buffalo Barrels. So Buffalo is very close to Niagara Falls, which is shared with Canada, and many people over the last 150 years or 200 years have, not many people, I will say some people, have gone over the falls in barrels. Some have lived, some have died. So the team name Buffalo Barrels, it's a cool name. I like the name. It rolls off the tongue. The colors are nice here on the logo, but it's not like the best logo ever. There's just some awkward parts to it. So I'm a little bit torn, but I do like it at the same time. Number 17, the Rocky Mountain Rex. I like this a lot. I think this is really cool. The Rocky Mountain Rex name is it's easy to say. It's a cool name. It's that simple as that. It's a cool name. The T-Rex himself is a little awkward looking, but he's aggressive, so I think that works. I think the negative thing here for me is the triangles, which are, I'm assuming, supposed to represent the Rocky Mountains or mountains in general. And to me, they don't really do that because they just look like triangles. I like to see them actually look like mountains. I think that would be really cool. Have the dinosaur actually coming over mountains. That'd be neat. Moving on to number 16, we are halfway done. The Pittsburgh Hellbenders. Really cool name. I like that so much. The colors are cool as well. Primary color being red. The P and the H are okay. I love the flames. I love the little hellbender or the salamander or whatever the heck that is. I think that's cool. There's very interactive and dimensional. It's going over the middle of the H and then under it and then around the left-hand side of it. So there's really cool interaction here in the logo. But the colorization in the background, that orange, that lipstick, like that muted lipstick color, just remove it. It takes away from the P, it takes away from the H, it takes away from that hellbender, and it takes away from the fire. Just remove it, and I think it would be a lot better. Number 15, the Detroit Cadillacs. I mean, this makes sense. It's Motor City, so why not throw, the name Cadillacs or a variation of the Cadillac logo on there? It looks a little bit awkward, but I think the tradition and the history of Cadillac and GM or Ford or Dodge or whatever from the city, I think that is okay to honor. So I could definitely see this being on the front of a uniform. Maybe not in the NHL, maybe not in the front of a jersey. Maybe it's the shoulder or something, but I think it would be pretty cool. So I like Dan's choice here. Number 14, the Capital Blocks. This is an awkward team name. Capital Blocks is such a weird name. I don't like it. The colors aren't that great either. They're very muted colors. But I don't know why, but I like this logo. Like, it's just gut feeling. The Washington Monument, you've got the old school hockey stick, or the goalie stick in there with the blocker that's like very retro. I don't know why I like this. It's not symmetrical. It's not vibrant. It doesn't have a creature or something that's aggressive on there. It's just kind of 3 random elements put together. But I think it would look cool in the front of a jersey. I don't know. Like, I really do. I think it would look kind of cool in the front of a jersey. So I kind of had to put it in my top 15. Let's move on. Number 13, Nashville Strings. Lots of cool stuff about this. The colors, you got some purple in there. That complements nicely with the brown, with the white. And on the logo itself, you got a hockey stick, you've got a banjo, you've got a guitar, you've got a violin or a cello. I'm pretty sure that's a violin because of the size. But I think this is really cool. Very well done logo. It's maybe a little bit dark, like on the purple in the guitar, in the violin, or on the banjo. It loses because the background is purple. Maybe make those white, or make those a darker or lighter brown or something like that. But a tiny little criticism there. Number 12, the New York Northerners. So we've got 2 New York teams, the Rangers and the Islanders, which have to be kind of rebranded here. So this is based off of rebranding or changing the DNA of the Rangers, just so you know. So the New York Northerners, I kind of like that name. It's a really cool name. I love that gun on there as well. And it's the same colorization of the hockey stick, which is just next to it. So I think that's a brilliant decision here by Dan. Now, the logo itself is so horizontal. It has no vertical aspects to it. So on the front of a jersey, it might look a little bit awkward. I don't know how wide that would actually be. I maybe have to see it in an actual jersey concept or something to really understand it. But I think you might need some vertical aspects to this to make it a little bit better. I'm just not sure what you would do. Maybe a compass in the background pointing north or something. I'm not sure. Number 11, the Montreal Fleur-de-Lis. So if the Canadians didn't exist, what would they go with? Well, let's assume that the Nordiques don't exist either. The most logical thing, I think, is maybe a fleur-de-lis. It's very Montreal, it's very Quebec, it's very French, and I think the cross in the background comes from the Montreal city flag. I could be mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a lot of applicable elements in here. The name fleur-de-lis, I think, is fine as well, so yeah, good job on this one. Number 10, the Arizona Scorpions. I like the team name. I like the fact that there's a creature on here which is aggressive, the Scorpions. No, everyone's kind of afraid of scorpions. I've never seen one, but if I did, I'd probably walk in the opposite direction. And then the object that's in the background, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's like, my mind pictures like 3 or 4 different things here. Number 1, it kind of looks like, well, the sun. Number 2, it looks like the Arizona state flag, where you've got like the sun rays coming up at the top. It's just the top half, so I think there's a bit of influence here for that. It looks like a fossil a little bit. Like I don't know really what it's exactly supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be a bunch of different things, but I do like it. It's pretty cool. I might want to see the scorpion colorized. I don't know what color, but I think, like to see him colorized. Number 9, the Texas Lone Stars. So I think this has to happen for the Dallas Stars. Like, make an alternate jersey and just go full Texas. Just do it. Just make it red, make it blue, and make it white. Leave the green at home, and just do something like this with a star, with a badge or something. I like this. I like this a lot. I think Dan nailed it. Number 8, we've got the Edmonton Beavers. And I mean, if you're Canadian, if you're creating a hockey team and they say choose an animal, you've got like 2 choices. You got a moose and you got a beaver. Everything else is secondary. Maybe a loon third, but still, I think the choice of a beaver here to go with by Dan, it makes sense. The colors are also really cool. Vancouver Canucks, very Vancouver Canucks inspired, but I think it looks awesome. You've got the provincial outline there in the background, and that beaver, he's not been to the gym lately. He's maybe been hanging around with a raccoon, and they've been raiding some garbage cans because he's a thick boy. He is thick. Number 7, Seattle Sockeyes. I think Dan hit a home run here with this team name. The Kraken was the ultimate decision by Seattle as the team name, the branding, but I think Sockeyes had to be in the top 5 for sure. Just makes so much sense historically and location-based. But I think Dan messed up on the colors here. Like, he nailed the logo. I love the aggressiveness of the Sockeye. The orientation and everything is cool. But I don't think a team in the NHL picking pink as the primary color will ever happen. A secondary color, absolutely. A tertiary color for sure, but not a primary color. So I think I would swap the colors here. Make the muted green or the muted blue maybe the primary colors, and have the pink be the secondary or tertiary color. Other than that, really, really cool brand here. Number 6, the Tampa Bay tanks. I don't really understand this one, but I love it. I have no idea if tanks are manufactured, produced in Tampa or in Florida. I have no idea where the U.S. military makes its tanks, but I like this logo. Like, and the colors are awesome. The orange and the light blue look so good together. The top of the tank looks to be like some kind of shell creature or something, but underneath that is like an aquarium happening on top of the tank. It's a very strange logo, but it's a tank and it's amazing, and the colors are awesome. Number 5, the Minnesota Freeze. I mean, that absolutely makes sense too. You play hockey on ice, which is frozen. Minnesota gets cold in the wintertime. And the logo has got some really nice colors. It's got a nice playful scene in there. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's got the M and the N with some snow on top, some trees, a little bit of pond hockey happening there. That's Minnesota life. Lots of lakes in Minnesota, lots of fishing happening on lakes, lots of pond hockey. I like it. A playful brand here. Number 4, the California Commodores. I struggled with this one. Originally, I had it like 15th, but I liked the name so much, and I liked the logo so much. Having that ship in there, and he just did such a good job drawing it. Like, it looks amazing. He just did such a wonderful job. The only thing I don't like about this is the colors, and not just because it's yellow and black, but because there's no tertiary color or no third color in here. I think that's a missed opportunity. There's just so much yellow happening in here. The water is yellow. It looks like pee. Make that blue. Make part of the sea blue. I think that would be much more complimentary. Maybe make the sails blue. I don't really know, but there's just so much yellow happening here. That's really the only negative thing for me here. And this is representing Anaheim, by the way. Number 3, the New York Veterans. So this is representing the Islanders, and I think this would look amazing on a jersey. You might argue that this would be a better shoulder patch than the primary logo on the front, but I really like the simplicity of this logo. It's very symmetrical. There's a poppy. It's the team name, Veterans or Vets for short, is easy to say. People will love it. Great brand choice, great colors. Number 2, the Vancouver Locomotives. Now, Vancouver does, I think, have some trains on its outskirts, but the primary source of rail incoming to British Columbia, the endpoint, is, I think, Coquitlam, a town called Coquitlam, and that is just outside Vancouver a ways. So I think Vancouver using the term locomotives is acceptable, and the colors are awesome. I love the fact that it is a symmetrical logo. It represents a locomotive. You've got the team name down below and the greats down below, Vancouver Locomotives. Great job. Now, number 1, I've put the New Jersey Battleships. It's a battleship. I mean, come on. It looks amazing. He nailed the logo. Down below, you've got, I think, maybe 2 things happening here. Some water or some waves, and possibly some nautical rope. So that's a really cool, like, out-of-the-box thinking there from Dan. In the background, you've got some blue as well. But the battleship is drawn so nicely. The colors are perfect. And, battleships are a part of U.S. history. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there is a battleship called the New Jersey. It was created in late 1930s or something like that. And it was used for World War II. I have no idea if it saw action. I can't remember that much, but I do know there's a battleship called New Jersey. And I think that it was recommissioned, or it was decommissioned, then recommissioned, then decommissioned, and recommissioned a bunch of times, and eventually retired in the mid-90s. I can't exactly remember, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones you can take a tour of. I'm sure it's stationed in New Jersey. But I think he just nailed this. I love the name Battleships as well. Love the colors. Great job on this one, Dan. And really great job on all of them. Thank you so much for sending in 32 completely redesigned NHL brands. I love it. And like I said at the beginning, if you guys want to take part in the contest that's ongoing, which is basically what you just saw in this video, but only one logo from one team, you can decide. Please go check out that video. It is just released on the channel recently. Would I love to see your submission. The due date is January 31st, if I'm not mistaken. So still lots of time to submit. And guys, if you've got a couple minutes, look, I'm sure this took Dan days of work time to complete, maybe even weeks. If you've got 2 or 3 extra minutes after this video, I would really appreciate your time, and I'm sure Dan would as well, to leave your favorite, leave a comment down below and let us know your favorite. Let us know your least favorite. If you want to rank them all too, that would be awesome. I read all the comments, so I would love to see your thoughts down below, and I'm sure Dan would as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. If you did enjoy this video, hit the like button, and if you're new, of course, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate you coming on board and joining the family. Hope you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. Adios.